Hey guys, welcome to my mobile office. I am down here in Wellington, Florida, getting ready for some USEF meetings. I'm actually at the Wellington show facility getting ready to watch a friend ride a dressage test. So I had a few minutes and thought I would go ahead and answer some questions. So let's get right into it.
Hey John, Steph from Galena. My question today is in regards to rider fitness. Do you think that we need more fitness outside of just riding horses? And if so, what kind would you suggest? And then secondly, my question is a little bit controversial, I guess, but what is your opinion on riders' weight on horseback? And do you feel that there's a proper weight and an improper weight for us to put on the back of a horse? All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, Stephanie, thanks. It's a great question. So speaking for myself, I try to be as fit as I possibly can. I go and work out 3 to 4 days a week and try to get into my CrossFit gym. That's what I personally like. And then as far as my weight, I do try to keep my weight down, particularly if I know I'm going to be riding a smaller, typier, lighter horse. So basically, I just try to be the best version that I can be of myself as an athlete. I figure if I'm going to ask that of my horses, I try to always ask it of myself. And the times that I really feel it are actually when things don't go perfectly out on the cross country. If I'm fit and I'm strong, I'm a little bit quicker to react. But what I did do is send this question to my trainer, Vilma, at CrossFit Antics here in Ocala. And she is going to go ahead and answer your question with a little bit more expertise than I would have.
Hi there, my name is Vilma. I'm from CrossFit Antics in Ocala, Florida. John forwarded me your question, so I wanted to give you a little bit of feedback from a fitness perspective and some things to think about when you're picking your fitness regimen. I was lucky enough to visit John at his farm last year and watch him not only do what he does, but also watch him and how he trained his clients. And it was really an eye-opening experience for me because it helped me better understand what they needed from me at the gym. Some things to consider when it comes to fitness and rider sport and riding. Number one, obviously the more in shape you are, the easier things will come. Especially from a cardiovascular perspective, if you have the capacity to ride horseback and feel comfortable and feel good when you get off, that's really our goal. Other things that are a little bit not so obvious are going to include being flexible. So having good range of motion. Can you touch your toes? Can you squat to depth comfortably? Are you able to get overhead extended without hyperextending your back? Those are some things that you may lose over time if you don't actively work on them. So picking something that's going to emphasize mobility and flexibility is going to be really important. Number two, strength training, and for two different reasons. Number one, the stronger you are, the better you'll perform. Number two is if you fall. So if you have the musculature to help protect your bones, if you fall, you're less likely to get injured. Again, not a guarantee, but it's better than not having any musculature at all. Also, it's going to help you have better body awareness. So whatever you pick, you want something that's going to make you think about how your body moves in space. Are you keeping your back flat? Are your heels down and back? How are you moving in space? Having that awareness is going to be essential in your sport as well, because it's going to help you remember to brace your core when you're on horseback, how to move well, how to be fluid. If you're not aware of your surroundings and how your body is in your environment, it'll be a little bit more difficult to be fluid and reactive in the right times when you need it. As for different training regimens, John's been with me on and off for about 3 to 4 years. We have several of his riders and students who come to us as well, but you have to pick something that's going to really work for you. Everyone has a different fit. I love CrossFit. I've been doing it for 8 years, so I obviously have a bit of a bias. But again, try different things. Not every place is the same. You may find a better fit at Orange Theory or at F45. The biggest thing is to find a regimen that's going to incorporate really flexibility, mobility, strength, and body awareness. As for rider's weight and horseback, I can't really speak too much about that. I have worked with some equestrians in terms of their diet and nutrition. My biggest concern when it comes to weight loss is, are you comfortable enough to perform? When you start cutting calories drastically, you can get brain fog. If you are not fueling yourself appropriately, you can have blood sugar spikes or drops. So whatever you end up doing in terms of your diet, you need to make sure that you're fueling yourself appropriately and doing something that's going to help you be at your top fitness level without sacrificing your ability to perform. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or John. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. But thank you for the opportunity to let me answer your question, and I hope you have a great day.
All right, so thanks, Vilma, and thank you, Stephanie, for the question. Let's get on to the next question.
Hi, John. My name is Laura. I'm a lifelong equestrian, and my question is concerning training, perhaps in the ring or out for a trail ride. When do you know when to push a horse or when to ease up, especially when they're spooking or acting goofy about something? How do you know if the horse is truly scared or if he's just looking to cause a little trouble? Thank you.
Hey, Laura, thanks for the question. It's a difficult thing when you have a horse that gets spooking at stuff, whether you're in the ring or out for a trail ride. The biggest thing that I have found over the years is that the better connected my horse is, and that's sort of a catchphrase that gets thrown around a lot, but what that means is that the more the horse is listening to the rider and paying attention to the rider, usually the less that they're going to spook. Now, when you're out for a nice trail ride, that can be a little bit tricky because the idea sometimes, usually if you're going for a trail ride, is to have a nice, relaxing ride. Usually that means the reins are going to be a little bit longer, you're going to be casual, but if I'm on one that I know is a little bit spooky, I'm probably going to keep that horse paying a little more attention to me, have it a little bit rounder, my leg on it a little bit more, and just a little bit more what I would say is in a frame. And if I can do that, then usually that horse spooks less. Some horses are just inherently spooky, and I think really the question becomes more, is the horse you're on appropriate for the job that you're asking it to do? I've ridden some very successful upper level event horses that honestly would never be appropriate trail riding horses. And likewise, I know of some very wonderful horses that are out trail riding and sort of being a relaxing pleasure horse that wouldn't be appropriate event horses. So I think that's the first thing to think about there is the horse you're on appropriate for the job that you're asking it to do? If you decide that it is appropriate for the job that you want it to do and it's just a little bit spooky, and you want to find out, is it really nervous or is it just looking for an excuse? I think you have to pay attention to things like, is it spooking at the same type of thing all the time, where you can teach it that whatever that is that it's nervous about is not a big deal, or is it just being opportunistic that every time that you ask it to work a little bit harder, it gets nervous and spooks because it doesn't really want to be put together? I think you need to be looking for patterns to see if you can figure that out. I've certainly had some very good horses that only spook when I start putting them together and start making them work. They can walk around the ring and be quiet and lovely and wonderful, and as soon as I try to put them together, then they start getting nervous. So that sort of horse, I know, is not really nervous about whatever it is they're spooking at. They're looking for something to get out of the work. But on the other hand, if I have one that is nervous about chairs next to the ring or mailboxes or dogs, then I know that that is a consistent thing that makes that horse nervous all the time, and that's probably a legitimate thing. So I think you're looking for appropriateness and then look for patterns as to what makes that horse spook, and that should help answer your question. Great question. So thanks for joining me for this episode of Answer This. I've had a great day down here in Wellington. I got to watch my friend Peter Gray ride his dressage test in the 4-1 at the Wellington show facility here. Always such a treat to come down to Wellington and sort of feel like you get a little bit smarter every time you watch these guys ride and compete, and Peter did an awesome job. Really cool. On the way back from the dressage test, I got to meet Carl Hester. Just happened to bump into Carl Hester down here and meet him. Peter introduced me. Really nice guy. Had a great time down here, and I'm just getting ready now to step into the Hilton to go and get ready for some USEF meetings. Excited to do that as well, and then we'll get headed home tonight so that I can get started again tomorrow on the event horses up in Ocala. It just makes me want to take a minute just to sort of say how lucky am I to get to come down here to Wellington. I get to do horses every day. Get to come down here for a couple days and just sort of take it all in, and then go back home to my beautiful place in Ocala and ride the event horses and get training. And, you know, even just getting to come down and just watch Peter ride his dressage test and sort of bum around town a little bit, it just motivates you and gets you excited for everything. So super excited. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode of Answer This, and till next time.